Hey guys, welcome back to part 4 of my Q&A for my 2,000 subscribers. And on with the next question. And this comes from, I think it's Finab. I do apologise if I get your name wrong, mate. And the question is, it says you like history and politics on your profile. So briefly, what are your political views? To be honest, I'm not like massively political. It's just a situation whereby I like to keep an eye on the news, sort of have a general overview of what's happening in the country, you know, what each party's points of view are, what they stand for, just so that when the election rolls around I know who to vote for. That's all it is really. I'm not like really heavily political. I like to take an interest, and as I think most people should really. You should never just bury your head in the sand and ignore it. Next questions are from Chris K893, and Chris asked 3 questions. Question number 1 is your favourite 3 movies. Really tough question. I mean, whenever it's favourite movies, games, etc., it's a tough one to pick because I think like most people they change on a regular basis. But I think movie-wise, Terminator 2 is definitely there because that's just a classic. I've watched it loads of times and I absolutely love that film. Yeah, that's a classic. Probably Enemy of the State is another one. I love that film. I love anything that Will Smith's in. I watch all his films. I pretty much have watched all of his films as far as I'm aware. I think the only one I haven't watched is the first film he made. That was it. And a third one, just trying to look at my film collection, which is not that big. What else would there be? It's a tough one. It's a really hard to pick 3 films that I can watch over and over because there's all like the Arnold Schwarzenegger films from the 80s. I can watch them constant because they're just brilliant. And Sly Stallone and all the classic action movies. I love all those kind of films. What else would I'd probably say like something like Blair Witch, maybe. I really like that film a lot. I haven't watched it for a while because I did milk it a bit. I watched it about 17 times. So I need to probably go back and watch that again. It's been a long time, but I really enjoyed the first Blair Witch movie. I know a lot of people hated it, but yeah, I thought it was great. Question number 2 from Chris. Favourite game of each of the current gen systems so far? PlayStation 3 would be Uncharted 1 and 2 and Heavy Rain. I know that's more than one game, but it's hard to pick one for that system. Xbox 360 is going to be Halo Reach. And Super Nintendo, and I can look at the next question. The Wii. That's a tough one because I've not played enough Wii games to really pick. But I'd say from the games I've played so far, it's a tough one. It's between Mario Galaxy and the Conduit at the moment because I like both of those equally, but they're both completely different games. I'll probably go Mario Galaxy actually. Mario Galaxy was a really impressive game. I still need to play the sequel. I thought Mario Galaxy was just absolutely excellent. I'm not a fan of 3D Mario usually, but the way they executed that game, it's just stunning. Really impressive, and some of the music on that game, like all Mario games, just fantastic. So yeah, Mario Galaxy. Question number 3, all-time favourite SNES game, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I think I've said it a few times, it's just a total classic. Whenever I can't think what to play, I would resort back to Street Fighter 2 Turbo because it's just a classic. It is absolutely my favourite game. Street Fighter 2 in particular on Super Nintendo holds a lot of memories for me. And there's nothing better than when you've got a group of friends and winner stays on playing Street Fighter. It's just cracking. Next set of questions are from Ed, One Northern Outpost. First question. Okay, so look. What's the most you'll be prepared to pay for a current gen game and a retro game? Current gen, no more than 40 quid. I refuse to pay more than £40. I think it pisses me off when they want to charge like 45 and it's only £5 more, but it's still a rip-off. Especially as the majority of I'm not going to class Wii games in this discussion for the moment. I'll put that to one side because they're a completely different kettle of fish. It's when it comes to PS3 and Xbox 360, like Blue Tonic says, with all the bugs and things in them, I generally don't think they're worth 40 quid at all. I think, majority of the time the games are half finished and they have to keep patching them. So I don't think they're worth 40 quid. And to be fair, they drop so fast anyway now. Within a couple of weeks they're usually going to 25, 30 at the most. So there's no point in paying full price. I mean, I like some of those collector's editions, some of them look really nice, but I just could not justify that kind of money for it. Because just to get like a couple of memorabilia bits, like if it's got a statue like Halo Reach, then yeah, I can understand the price then because it does look fantastic. Or like the, was it Modern Warfare 2 that had the night vision goggles? That was really awesome. And it's a bit pointless in a way because you're going to use it a couple of times and then it's just going to sit on the shelf and look nice, which is cool, but it's just a lot of money really to spend in on a game, I think. Especially a game that was really crap like Modern Warfare 2. the night vision goggles were better than the actual game itself. Yeah, I'd say £40 maximum. I don't want to pay more than that. Retro, I'd say no more than 100, and that's only if I'm pushing it, because that would have to be a game I'm in real desperate need for. The most I've spent so far would be on Super Mario World, and that was expensive. Let's put it that way. It wasn't over 100, but it was expensive. But it was worth every single penny, because I was having such trouble trying to get a copy, black label, mint condition, box complete, and it's as close as mint as I can get it. And it's definitely the jewel in my Super Nintendo crown, because I never thought I was going to get one at one point. So yeah, it's worth every penny. Question number 2. Do you find it hard to find a balance between collecting and playing? As I've probably said already earlier, yeah, I do actually. I think it was Adfot1 that asked about this as well. It is tough to try and balance the two sometimes, and you do have to just sort of step back and think, am I collecting for the right reasons? Am I collecting for the right systems? You know, am I spreading myself too thin? I should really just be playing these games, not just sticking them on a shelf. It is quite easy to just keep buying and buying and buying and buying, and just build up a stack and just have an amazing looking room of games, but if you never play them, there's no real point in buying them. So yeah, it is a tough balance, but I am trying my best to try and alter that balance so that I don't keep just buying for the sake of buying, and I'm more focused in my actual collecting, and I do get to play them more and enjoy them. Okay, next question. On a separate note, are you going to go to Replay this year? I won't be, unfortunately. I'd like to go to one of these events because they do look really fun. However, it's down to money, travel, you know, accommodation. They're always really far away from where I live, so it's not simple to do, unfortunately. But yeah, Ed, one day I would definitely like to go to one of these events. Next questions are from the awesome Shock16, top YouTuber. And 2 questions. First question, what games desperately need a sequel? Ooh, games. Right, well, one is definitely Freedom Fighters from last gen. I love that game. If you've not played it, mate, go and check it out. It's absolutely brilliant. Total classic. I love that game to bits, and I'd love to see a brand new Freedom Fighters 2. Whether they could do it right, I don't know. It depends on the studio that works on it. It would have to be somebody like Naughty Dog working on it, or Bungie, or somebody that's got good talent that can actually do a good job, because I would love to see that. Other than that, what else would there be? That would be a really good one for a sequel now. Let me see. It's really hard. When you're on the spot like that, to just go and think of something. I've always said I would like to see a new Final Fight game. I know they did the HD remakes, which are cool, but I'd like to see a fully flashed out brand new Final Fight. They did Final Fight Streetwise last generation, which was an absolute pile of crap. It was shockingly bad. I actually bought it for the Xbox just for the hell of it, just to see how bad it was, and it was terrible. So I'd love to see a proper Final Fight game. They'd have to flesh it out more. They couldn't just have a straightforward 2D scroll from one side to the next beating people up. They'd have to try and do something to make it more modern. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if they could do something with that. Next question from Shocks. If you were to design your own video game, what would you call it? What features would it have? And what games would it be released with? Oh, system. Right, okay, so. Ooh. The name of systems I find the hardest part. I don't know how companies come up with them, because it's really difficult to get that perfect name that's like just trips off the tongue, and people are like, oh, that's really cool. You know, it just makes you. It's the whole marketing thing, isn't it, really? It's just something that makes consumers want to go and buy the product, and that's not something I'm very good at. Features, obviously, it would have to be, in this current era, be like the PS3 where it's multimedia, so I want something that can play my Blu-rays, that can play my media files, my music, my movies, my photos, display those. I want something that's got all the connections on the back, HDMI, Ethernet, optical, you know, all the important stuff. It's got to have the cutting edge Wi-Fi in it, so all the essential electronic bits. It's got to have a wireless controller, of course. You know, I want more than 2 USBs would be nice, so you've got multiple options. And it needs to be small as well, not overbearing, so that it fits in, and it needs to look nice. It needs to be small, compact, looks nice, and it needs to be, the colour's the issue, because it's all right having these multicoloured systems, but generally black's the best one, because it just fits in with all your other AV equipment, which is a shame, because it's nice to have like white, red, green, yellow, blue, whatever, special editions, but they just don't, they look weird when you put them next to your TV and your DVD players and everything that just don't look right. Yeah, the name's the hardest part. I don't know. It would depend on what company it's for as well. If it's Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Sega, or even a British company. That's what I want to see actually. I want to see a British company make a new console to take on the main three. Because the Americans obviously got Microsoft, Japan's got Sony and Nintendo, so it would be awesome to see us try and make one ourselves. It's going to be difficult because British engineering is pretty much non-existent nowadays, and British workmanship, yeah, we are pretty lazy people, so it would be difficult to be motivated enough to actually make one, I think, and to get it to market, but it'd be really cool to see that happen. I'm probably going to get so much hate now for saying that British people are lazy, but oh well, whatever. I'm British, so I don't care. Right, okay. Next question is from the News 1990. And I don't suppose lazy is the right word. I just think that British people have this attitude of, I'm only doing what I'm paid to do, and they don't want to push themselves to go the extra mile. That's what I meant. Sorry if I insulted any of my fellow Brits. Right, favourite 8-bit, 16-bit and 32-bit. Oh, okay. Favourite 8-bit game, 16-bit game, and favourite 32-bit system, and favourite Dreamcast game, and favourite current gen system. Bloody hell, mate. Right, okay, start from the top. Favourite 8-bit game is... Ooh. It's always a toss-up between Renegade, Hawkeye, and Armalite. Those are the ones that always stick in my mind. I love games like Bruce Lee and Hunchback and Last Ninja, but yeah, those Renegade, Hawkeye, and Armalite are just some fantastic titles. And Uridium as well is another great one. 16-bit Street Fighter 2, any Mario game. Turrican, love that game. Yeah. 32-bit system, it's going to be the PlayStation 1 without that. 3DO's alright, and the Saturn's decent. But the PS1, I mean, the catalogue of games on the PS1, and the PS1 just has so much nostalgia. When I had that system, it was fantastic. There's so many great games. You look at the franchises that came off the back of that, like Medal of Honor, the Ridge Racer games that came out. I mean, I know Ridge Racer was on other systems as well, but still, it's more associated with Sony systems than anything. It's just, Spyro. I love Spyro, the Crash Bandicoot games, Tomb Raider. The PS1 is a fantastic system when you look at it and the games that it's launched. And to this day, it's fair enough the 3D graphics haven't aged very well, but the games are still ultra playable and the music is just fantastic, and the 2D stuff it can do is just stunning. Favourite Dreamcast game? That's a tough one. When I had my Dreamcast, when I first had my Dreamcast years ago when they came out, and I had mine, I think it was when it was dying off, I got it just on a whim. And the one game that I always really played a lot was Matt Hoffman's BMX, because I'm a big Tony Hawk fan, and I thought I'd try Matt Hoffman to try something a little different, and it was absolutely brilliant. I played so many hours of that. It's just, that was a classic. I'm trying to think of the name of that group. Christ, I can't remember that. It's a rap group that my mate likes. Oh Christ. I can't remember. The song's called Bombs Over Baghdad anyway. Brilliant song, and he used to play that on Matt Hoffman, and that was just great to ride your bike to. So yeah, I'd probably say Matt Hoffman. If not, probably it's like Soul Calibur or Crazy Taxi, because Crazy Taxi I spent hours playing as well. Great game. And favourite current gen system? Right, okay, if it's current gen systems are tough, because it's like, if it's like every system as an all-round system that does everything, not just gaming, then it would be the PS3 without a doubt. By a country mile, the PS3, because I love that system. It's just so well designed. It's got a fantastic interface, simplistic, easy to use. Anyone can pick a PS3 up, know exactly how to start a movie, how to look at a photo, how to play some music, how to start a game. It has got obviously more techie kind of things when you go into the settings, and you can individualise all of your settings for your Blu-ray playback, your DVD playback, your video settings, your audio. It's quite impressive actually how many options you have to actually tweak things. But then it's also got just such great media functionality. It's so easy and simple to get things up and running. To just stick a USB stick in and watch a film, or listen to some music, or just look at some photo slideshows. It's not overly complicated like the 360, which has like menu after sub-menu after menu after sub-menu, and it just frustrates me. I preferred the 360 when it had the blade system. I found that a lot better. That was simple and effective, just like the XMB on the PS3. Obviously, exclusive games, PS3, hands down, is the best system. Now, if it's purely gaming, I would probably edge more towards the Wii, because the Wii has got some absolutely stellar titles. Yeah, it had a really rough couple of years where there was a lot of crap, and there still is a lot of crap. But if you start reading through the rubbish, there are some absolutely fantastic titles, and I'm finding that more and more the more I buy games recently, and I'm playing quite a few Wii games lately, and I'm really getting into the system, and it is a great little system. With the right games, it's fantastic. Maybe they made a mistake with the motion controls, that's for definite. It probably should have been a secondary control system, and they should have had a normal controller, because when you're playing proper games, and by proper I mean games that aren't like casual throwaway rubbish, it does become difficult to integrate the controls, especially first-person shooters can be very delicate, and you really do need a normal control system. You can play them with motion control, and they are quite playable. It's just that sometimes the slightest movement, and it sends the guy spinning around, and it's frustrating. But yeah, I mean, I really like the Wii a lot. There's some really cracking games on that system. So the 360 is definitely for me the third place in this generation. There's so many reasons. I mean, the Red Ring of Death, you know, the rush to market, the fact that they dropped the original Xbox, which really annoyed me. The games have been, they've got some decent games, but a lot of them are cross-platform exclusives. They haven't really got anything that's that amazing. Yeah, I know they got Gears of War, but it isn't that brilliant. Right, okay, I'll probably get loads of hate for not liking Gears of War that much. It's not that I don't like it, it's a good game, it's just not a great game. It's overrated in my opinion. Okay, next one is from Huge Resi Fan. And Sam wants to know, if you could listen to only one album for the rest of your life, what would the album be? That is a tough one, mate. That's a really tough question. It's really hard because I'm a kind of person who's when I get a new album, I just rinse the album. If it's something I like, I just play it and play it and play it and play it for weeks on end, back to back, for like hours a day, until eventually I just get burnt out and I can't listen to it any longer. And I've got a bad habit of doing that with albums. At the moment, I'm rinsing Rihanna's album, mate. I absolutely love that latest album. I'm just playing it to death. As I did with N-Dubs, I played them to death. So it's really hard. I think if I had one album to live for the rest of my life to listen to, I would end up going insane. Having said that, if I was going to pick an album, this is really hard to just pick one album that you're going to listen to, because you would get pissed off eventually. It'd have to be like a compilation. I'd have to like make a mixed disc of songs from different artists, because I couldn't just listen to one artist for the rest of my life. So I'd have like some Tupac, some Nightwish, some Lacuna Coil, some Metallica, probably have a bit of Iron Maiden in there, have some N-Dubs, some Norah Jones, some Miles Davis. I'd have, what else would I have in there? Probably some TLC, like old TLC, like the first album, I love that album. Some Aaliyah. I'd have a bit of Stilt, a bit of Shy. I'd have, trying to think of albums I've got. Well, I've got so many albums. Oh yeah, I've got to have some Slipknot in there, definitely got to have some Slipknot. Some Killswitch Engage, but only from Alive or Just Breathing, because that was the best singer they had on that album. Fantastic. Probably have a bit of Coolio as well, a bit of Little Kim, but only the first album of Little Kim, because she went crap after that. Bit of Foxy Brown as well. Yeah, also I'd have, I'd probably have the majority of the Doggy Style album or Snoop Dogg, because that album's just fantastic. It's a true classic. And some of Dre's Chronic as well. Yeah, you see what I mean? And a bit of Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. It's really hard to just pick one album. I'd have to just like mash everything into one big CD. Right, okay, I hope that helps. I don't know if that really answered your question, but yeah. Next questions are from Live Valiant. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, mate. Really hard to pronounce some of these script names. Question number 1, favourite soundtrack from a game? Castlevania 4 soundtrack. Love that soundtrack to bits. That and Street Fighter 2, because Street Fighter 2 is the most iconic soundtrack out there, along with all the Mario games, of course. But I love all the individual level music from Street Fighter, especially Guile's music. That music is fantastic. Question number 2, would you like to see Sega make a comeback in the console wars? And if they do, what would you like them to call the new console? As I said, I'm crap at naming consoles, mate. It's not my strong point at all. Yeah, I'd absolutely love to see Sega come back. I would love to see it go back to the 90s with Sega and Nintendo as the two top dogs fighting it out and having those ridiculous media wars, because Sony and Microsoft, as much as they're good companies, they ain't got a clue what they're doing really. They're not gaming companies in the slightest, they're still corporate electronic companies. So, as cool as the PlayStation and the Xbox brands are, it isn't as cool as Nintendo and Sega, not in my opinion anyway. So yeah, I'd love to see Sega come back with a new system. I don't know, maybe the Sega Destroyer, maybe. I don't know, that's a crap name, but you know, Destroyer of all consoles. I don't know. It's really. I mean, what have they had? They've had the Mega Drive or the Genesis. They've had the Master System. They've had the Dreamcast. I mean, where'd you go from the Dreamcast? That's it, the Saturn. I don't know, it's really, really, really hard. I mean, you look at Nintendo and their new system, and you're hearing things like, you know, the codename Project Cafe, which is just weird. And what the hell does that mean? You got the actual system apparently might be called Stream, maybe called Feel. I think both of them are crap. I'll wait and see. I'd probably regret that if they do use that one of those names. So it's a really tough. I mean, it must be really hard to sit there in a room and try and come up with a name for a new system or for any electronic. Really, just try and market it correctly so people are going to be interested to buy it. I don't know if I think of something. I'll tell you later on, but I'm stuck at the moment. How far are we? All right, cool. Right, next one's set of 3 questions from Suka World Gaming. Question number 1: favourite Mario power-up? It's going to be the Fire Mario. I absolutely love Fire Mario. I love the suit. I love the fireballs. They're just so helpful, and Mario just looks really cool in red and white. Favourite game controller? Super Nintendo, hands down. Best controller ever designed. Absolutely fantastic. I can give you a top 3. In fact, it'd be Super Nintendo at number 1, N64 at number 2, and the DualShock at number 3. And that's DualShock 3. I really like the DualShock 3. I like the extended buttons. I know a lot of people hate them, but I think they look really good and they feel comfortable. And it's just a really nice joypad. Question number 3: are there any video game based movies you've seen or liked? I've seen a few. I've seen like the Mario Brothers, the Mortal Kombat, the Tomb Raider movie, the Street Fighter movie. Yeah, I haven't watched Prince of Persia yet because it looked crap. My dad watched it and hated it, so we've got the same kind of taste, and if he doesn't like it, I'm not watching it. So yeah, I'd say the only one I've liked was the Tomb Raider films and the original Mortal Kombat. I thought the Tomb Raider films were actually quite decent. They were pretty reasonably done. They weren't too bad, and got Angelina in it, so it kind of makes me like the movie a bit more. But right, next question from Mudaka101, and the question is: can I have your video games? Sorry mate, no chance. No, seriously though, what do you find are the main problems you've run into as a collector? eBay. eBay's a bitch. Mainly people on eBay, just, crap sellers, don't know how to package things, don't know how to be honest about the condition of games, don't know how to take proper photographs, don't know how to charge proper shipping. Those are all things that get in the way when collecting. And it's frustrating. And the biggest problem I have is because I import and buy American Super Nintendo. If I can't get the game on the UK eBay and I've got to get it on the American eBay, it's just, if it's a game that's hard to come by, it's just waiting and waiting and waiting to find that right one, that one in perfect condition, box complete, mint, for the good price with good shipping. And it can be kind of frustrating. You're consistently checking and not finding it. So yeah, I'd say that's the biggest problem I've found, is just trying to find the game you're after for the good price in the best condition with good shipping. Next question is from Chipsters. Chipsters wants to know, what was the first video game you ever played? That would be Ray the Exploding Fist on the Commodore 64. I don't remember exactly how old I was when I did that, unfortunately. I know the game came out around about 85, I think it was come out. I think that's right. And I just remember my dad sitting me down in front of his Commodore 64 and just giving me the joystick and letting me play it. And I was absolutely addicted from that point. It's such a great game. And I haven't really looked into it since. I've not played it since I was a kid, so a lot of it's nostalgic, and it probably isn't as good as it was back then. But at the time, I thought the game was fantastic, and that's what got me into gaming. So it's got to be a good thing. Okay, we've got probably I'll give it another 5 minutes, so a couple more questions. The next question is from Scratchmaster. I'm never too sure, mate. Is it Web or Weeby? I don't know. I do apologise, mate. Right, okay. Do you think Sega should make a new console? And are you looking forward to the next Nintendo system? Yeah, absolutely. As I said earlier, Sega should definitely make a new console. I don't think it's ever going to happen, and I know a lot of people want it to happen, but I just don't see Sega doing it. I think they're quite happy making games for companies now. They're quite comfortable in that position because there's so much competition from the three main companies, Sony, Nintendo and Microsoft. Do they really want to risk putting a system out there that might dive bomb like the Dreamcast? It's a tough one. From the business standpoint, it probably doesn't make good business sense to put a new system into production. From Sega's personal opinion, they probably would like to, but as I say, from a business standpoint, it probably wouldn't make a lot of sense. Am I looking forward to the new Nintendo system? Hell yeah. probably about another 3 weeks now, I think, 3 or 4 weeks until June 7th. And then we'll find out exactly what Nintendo have on the cards. And I'm really, really interested. I'm absolutely fascinated by this because I'm just dying to know what the truth is. You see all this rumour and speculation, and IGN the other day put up a ridiculous video where they took their what they believe from their insiders to be the specifications of the system, and they built a PC that's similar but not the same specifications to try and get an idea of what the graphics are going to be like. I was like, that's bullshit. That's such a stupid thing to do. It's like, what is the point? You don't know for definite if what the information you've been given is accurate. It might be complete bullshit, and you might be being misled, and therefore Nintendo might have completely different specs to what you've been told. And even if you have been told the correct information, you're using hardware that's similar, not the same as the specs. So how in the hell is that going to give you an accurate portrayal of what the machine is going to be like? It's bullshit. It's such a stupid, pointless video to put up, and it's just typical of IGN. What's the crap? But yeah, I mean, I personally really want to know what's going on. I want to see what Nintendo's coming up with and how they're going to innovate with this one. Are they just going to go for the hardcore and just, you know, release a beast of a machine with a badass controller with backwards compatibility with the Wii Motion sensor built into the system, so that you can use your existing Wiimote and Nunchuck, which would be the perfect way to do it, so that people don't have to buy new controllers for the system. That would be great. I mean, I can see Nintendo doing that. It makes logical sense to do that, because people are still going to buy Wiimotes and Nunchucks whenever they break, so that's, you know, that's not going to lose out money there. And yeah, are they going to just go the hardcore route, or are they just going to go the hardcore route and have something completely fresh and original, like this alleged controller with this 6-inch touchscreen, which seems a bit ridiculous cost-wise? I can't see that working, but it's Nintendo. They might completely surprise us like they always do. You should never rule Nintendo out, because every time they bring a new system out, people just go, oh yeah, here we go, and they start slagging them off, and they go, it's never going to happen. And I've seen it recently with this system. People have been sceptical, and I'm like, you did this with the Wii, and look how successful that system was. Whether you approve of the Wii or not, the system has sold a shitload, and they, you know, they are number one in terms of sales. You can debate whether it's the best system out of the three or not, but in terms of business and sales, which is what they all work towards, because, you know, it is a business at the end of the day, the Nintendo Wii is the most successful, and it's fantastically created. You know, the machine itself is extremely well made. You don't really hear that many problems with the machine. You know, they're very rare if you hear them at all. So it is a great system. So I would never put anything past Nintendo. All of their consoles have been extremely well made, and I'm just really excited to find out what they're going to do, and I can't wait to buy one. So that's it, guys. We'll wrap up part 4 here, and please come back and join me for part 5, and we'll continue with the questions. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon.